Memorial Stadium. Me and Grayson checking out things, talking a little football with you guys tonight. Grayson, how you feeling today?
I'm a little itchy right now, getting attacked by mosquitoes. we were
This,
talking, we were doing a frantic search right before we started to get some just like that, whatever the bug off stuff. And
yeah,
I'm gonna try to refrain from looking like a maniac on
yeah,
camera.
he's getting the attack of the mosquitoes I got last week when I wore my flip flops here, and you can see me dancing around the whole time we're talking. But we're here to talk football and Clemson and on campus here. It's a beautiful day outside the stadium. I saw the team leave about 1 o'clock today. 5 buses strong rolling out to the airport to go fly over. They're actually going to fly. I cannot believe that for a 3-hour drive. They're going to fly
Yeah,
to the game, Wake Forest
in
tonight.
style, in style.
And those guys are going to be in town there tonight doing their overnight stay in a hotel. Their pregame ritual they go through every Friday, Saturday. Dabo keeps them pretty regimented with that. But we'll talk about a little bit what happened last week with the Louisiana Tech game. Going to have a little bit of a preview of what we're going to see with the game tomorrow with 22nd ranked Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. Grayson is going to be at the game. I'm going to stay home at the studio here in Clemson and monitor the game. But Grayson and Thomas Woods, one of our other contributors, is from on campus, and along with Grayson's mom, are going to be in the game. I'm very excited about this because his mother is a semi-professional photographer. I'm gonna tell you right now. She told me she was amateur, but she shot for us at one of the games earlier this year, and I was totally blown away. So her first road assignment, Grayson's first road assignment, Thomas's first assignment. Period. CSM will be in Winston-Salem, and these guys will be covering the game. But let's talk about football. Let's talk about last weekend, Louisiana Tech. Talk to me. What did you think about the game?
So I thought that the offense continued to hum along. I think the more we saw, I think the running game, we saw a more balanced attack on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so too.
It didn't feel like one side of the ball was having to carry the heavy load. We saw a lot of plays from Antonio Williams. Bo Collins had another touchdown. We also got to see Will Shipley, who's, I think, the first ACC running back in history to have 3 straight multi-touchdown games to start the year. I don't know if that's, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but they mentioned something in our post-game interview with him.
I know it's the first Clemson back.
He broke the record.
History, but it's also, I think, might be a conference record too. But we'll have to double check all that stuff.
Yeah.
I tell you, I took away from the game, a high-powered air raid offense coming in with Sonny Cumbie and Louisiana Tech is something that he'd always done. Cumbie was an ex-Texas Tech quarterback back in the day. He's a disciple of our man down in Mississippi State.
Mike Leach.
He's a Mike Leach disciple. Mike Leach turned him into a quarterback at Texas Tech back in the day, and so Cumbie brings that gunslinging type of mentality. His quarterback was a gunslinger. They were getting the ball out really quick. Your screen passes everywhere, trying to negate the Clemson pass rush.
It was the Furman method, what we talked about last Friday. Trying to utilize all that.
You're trying to negate the athletic skill that you the difference there, and the fact that you got to scheme around talent and what you have and what they have, and that's what they did. It's your typical coaching job. But he caught up, as it always does. And then again, they did amass like 314 passes. They got 6 rushing yards out of the day.
Yeah, and
they didn't really attempt to rush, but they had a lot of sacks.
A lot of starters out on Saturday. Makuba, Wiggins, obviously Brazil.
Backfield was
out.
Yeah. You had Sheridan Jones go down in the first quarter.
Yep. So a lot of injuries, a lot of adversity
injuries in that backfield, and I'm going to need them this week with the Wake Forest come, in that wide receiving core that Sam Hartman has at his availability. You're going to need that whole complement of guys back. But again, Brazil was out, Tyler Davis was out. Then at game time we find out that Trey Williams was out.
Right.
So then all of a sudden you had your third string defensive tackles going out there, second and third string guys going out there, and fourth string guys working out there. Devontae Capehart had a good game.
He did. Peyton Page as well had a good game.
Page had a great game.
We got to talk about him for pre-interviews this week. Talking about his journey.
Great story you did on there's a great story on CSN about Peyton Page. Go look for it. It's on the front page right now. I tell you, I think that it gave our defensive coordinator another look, another thing to look at, and how people are going to attack their defense this year. And you talk a Clemson team that's normally in the top 10. We're sitting right side about like number 50 in the country right now on defense, and it's just odd for us.
Yeah, you can expect some growing pains with Goodwin and this first regiment. It's the era has begun officially. And last year's kind of carryover from Tony Elliott and Brett Venables with all that. The one thing that I know this is kind of off topic with LA Tech, but how about them with the letters? I feel like that was the big story.
Man.
What a
the whole team
class act.
Yeah, the whole team. Well, first, Cumbie comes out at the warm-ups wearing a strong shirt, and greets Dabo. I thought that was really classy. And then he hands over a box full of handwritten letters from every player on the team from Louisiana Tech. We tweeted it out, and it's been a big thing all week. Clemson fans have been reciprocating with their love to Louisiana Tech to show them how much we appreciate it. But every player on that team wrote a letter to Brian Brzee and his family, and send their best regards. Considering what happened this week. And again, remember, guys, they just put Ella, to rest on Tuesday of this week. So Brian's, just coming back from that, and he will play this weekend. I really think that there might be an inspirational game on his point. We might see something really big from him this weekend. He's in one of my players to watch for this game for sure. But yeah, really, really Louisiana Tech class acts. Their fans are really great. Gracious. And I hope our fans treated them well while they were here.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the best stories of college football, maybe from sports all week, was just that they're able to rally around him and just what sports is all about.
Well, I tell you, man, our community, Clemson rallying around the Brzee family like it did, and putting their arms around them. I think over 40 players attended that funeral.
Yep.
I mean, that's a heck of a bunch of guys to uproot their week and go up there and do that, because there's something about our Clemson football team this year. They haven't had but 1 week of solid preparation all year. There's always been something kind of gotten in the way of unstructuring their week. And Dabo's big on regiment and structure and keeping things status quo and on time, and they've been off schedule almost every week, I think.
Yeah, it's been kind of wacky for the start of the season, but I feel like we're finally starting to reach into that sense of normalcy. We're going to go by
conference play.
Yeah, conference play.
Yeah, it feels a little better.
The stakes are higher. We're not really going through the motions going, well, it's not a matter of if we win, but when we win.
Yeah. I tell you something we need to talk about. Those DJs play last week looked really fluid and escapable.
Right.
And Swifty. Remember we came up with that one a couple weeks ago? Swifty.
Slim Cinco is looking Swifty.
Yeah, he's looking really Swifty. Again, last week with the Swifty moves, coming out of that pocket on the quarterback runs, it wasn't just power stuff. He was getting around, making a couple guys miss, juked a couple guys out. His passing game, again, efficient, on target. Really, anything that's incomplete is not because of him. It's because of a drop ball. I haven't seen him forcing the issue like I have in the past. Knock on wood for DJ, but wow, he's surpassing actually one of the nation's leaders in I think he's third in the nation in yards, overall yardage passing facing the blitz.
There you go.
And that's a great stat.
Absolutely. There's something, Gary, that I want to point out to you that I was able to find on Twitter. Was a film review of a play. It was the Will Shipley touchdown rush. One of the safeties comes crashing into the box and only focuses on DJ's ability to run. It was on the zone read. DJ makes a great read, hands it off to Shipley, but the safety crashed on DJ. Something we didn't see last year, which allowed Shipley to get to that second level.
No one thought DJ was going to run the ball because we knew DJ was injured most of the year. People already saw how the previous year ended with him a shoulder injury, and they were holding him back from running the football. And now that the ability to run is there, you gotta account for him, because to put an extra hat, it gives you an extra blocking hat in the box when you're on the offense when you do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, you got to account for DJ now as a runner, not just as a passer, but his passing game. DJ's got, to me, he's an A- right now.
I would say that's fair.
That's A-. The offensive line, B+. We're getting there. There's still some issues, I think, in the guard position. I've seen a lot of things happen there. They need to be straightened out. Some people in the, and I'm be honest with you, it's the left guard, not right guard, that needs to get squared away a little bit, in my eyes. But defense, I'm gonna go with a B+ again.
B+.
Again, I'm not too happy with the adjustments I saw or non-adjustments I saw in the first 2 games. I don't know if that was on purpose, not trying to show scheme. Could have been that. He could have been holding things back for the season. But at the same time, I saw teams getting away with just doing, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. And Clemson should have went in there and broken it. You should have went in there and broken the screen games and stopped them, and you wouldn't have you wouldn't find yourself so far down that list of defensive teams right now in college football.
Yeah, we can probably expect that number to start to come back into what we're used to as things start to gel.
Play gets here. Yeah, I think we're going to start to dial things in a little more, and hopefully, because I think we're going to be more today. I think this game you'll see more guys full health so far this season. I think the roster, the guys are coming back, feeling better. The guys who were out last week were held for a reason.
Yeah, and should things hold, I believe with the lineup of XT, Miles Murphy, Tyler Davis, and Brian Brzee, I think they've only played a total of 24 snaps together.
6 games.
Insane.
24 snaps. That's 4 snaps. Think about that. That's 4 snaps a game average in 6
Insane.
games over their whole careers. That bunch. Now that foursome right there alone, if they play one whole game, would dominate.
Oh yeah.
And that offensive line tomorrow, after what happened with Liberty last week, Sam Hartman will be running for his life. He will have to be a quick passing game and get it going out with the screens, or they're not going to have a game. It's going to be another one of those Clemson. We'll get to that in a minute. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we'll get back to Wake Forest. Let's get back to the end of the Louisiana Tech. They brought DJ back in after a couple Klubnik drives stalled, and DJ walked right down the field, scored, into the game.
Business as usual.
Business as usual. It was good to see that. It's like He's got command of the offense. He knows where things need to be now.
The confidence is evident when you see DJ play, where he distributes the football. He's
It's a lot different than last year.
Going through his reads, going through his progressions, making the right decisions, whether it's zone read.
Now. Last year, I could see him looking around trying to make that decision in mid-play with guys flying all around him. Now he knows when he walks up to the line where he's going to go with that football.
Something that really impressed me with him.
He's also got some guys this year.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's hurt. Yeah. Antonio Williams has risen up, and then you had the emergence of Adam Randall last week. He got one catch in, but look for him to be another guy to watch this week. I think he's your guy to watch.
Oh, yeah, he is. Adam Randall's definitely my guy to watch. But what I was saying about DJ and really impressed me is that every time we talk to him, he's always talking about the film and how much he's studying this year. It's really evident when you watch his play. He's aware of what's going on. He's able to dissect the defense. I was trying to dissect the defense was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Adam Randall being a guy to watch for. Those 50-50 balls, just being able to have a play where DJ goes, hey, I'm just going to throw it up.
Well, there was one last week they threw up and Dabo
pass interference.
Yeah, Dabo went ballistic over that pass interference. It didn't get called, but that one should have been called. But there you go. We weren't even throwing those balls up 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
There weren't even an option. Now they're an option there. Bo Collins is probably the most consistent guy at the receiving core. Had another great week last week.
Yep.
Another one of those scramble touchdown drills. He had a great catch and a run for a touchdown for about 32 yards last week.
Yep.
Big T Potter, a guy's been so consistent all year. You hadn't even had to mention his name because he goes out there and does his job.
Kickers are they're probably either mentioned when they start missing field goals, and PT does not miss field goals.
No, he does not.
Hopefully, that's not one of those jinxes that you see on the TV.
Award candidate, the guy is. I think he's a guy tomorrow that you'll have to look to if the game is close later in the game. But I don't think we'll get there. Again, we'll get to Wake Forest in just a minute. But let's keep on trudging along here. Let's talk about Dakari Collins in the transfer portal. Dakari Collins, the Clemson wide receiver, decided this week depth chart was a little bit too much for him. I think the emergence of Adam Randall and some other things that have been going on he just decided it's time to save that year. He left before the fourth game to save that year of eligibility and put himself into the transfer portal, which he actually can't enter until the end of the season.
Yeah.
But he's out now, and I think he's withdrawn from campus. And so good luck to Dakari.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think that emergence of Adam Randall is the reason why we're doing this. And let's look for Adam Randall this weekend. He's another guy. I'm with you. I'm looking forward to seeing him play this week.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of players that we're looking forward to seeing this week. So do we want to go ahead and get into our Wake Forest?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's dive into Wake Forest. Wake coming into the game 22nd ranked. Last week had a hard time with a Liberty squad that was pressing them all game long. We watched the game in the press box.
Yep.
I kept elbowing you going, watch this. They won by 1 point, I think 37-36 right there at the end of the game. Stopped a 2-point conversion from coming across the field, and then they would have been having an unranked Wake Forest opponent this week. But
be a much different story.
I think they ran for 21 yards on 36 carries, something really bad like that. They got blown up in their run game. Hartman was able to get the ball out to his guys and do some work on their secondary. That's what we got to watch out for, is that big receiving core. Their primary target, number 9, that guy.
A.T. Perry, man.
That guy is
he's
monster.
A bad man.
And he got loose a couple times on Clemson, but he's never really done much damage. But again, this is this year, not last. So let's keep our eyes moving forward. And I really look forward to seeing the defensive line coming together tomorrow for maybe the first time this year.
I'm looking forward to that. Kind of how I looked at this preview is, how do I look at it last year? Last year, I believed that it came all together for Clemson in that game. And the offense was playing well. The defense was getting sacks, creating turnovers. I feel like we could potentially see a repeat of that, where the defensive line, especially with that Wake Forest offense, where they hold on the ball for so long, it gives them an advantage.
Isn't going to work.
Right.
Again, it's just like option football. You crash the A gap and you destroy an option football team. All it is another version of the veer offense. And they've learned through playing Clemson. There's certain teams like Clemson and Pittsburgh with those dominant defensive lines with that mesh point just was not going to hold up.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see a quick passing game. I think you'll see screens. You watch the beginning of the Liberty game, they tried going to the quick passing game at the beginning of that. I think you'll see a lot more of that going on.
Yeah, I see probably them take a couple deep shots at the beginning, try to get the home crowd a little bit, get the little energy into the stadium. I'm excited, though, to see how our secondary matches up. That's going to be something I'm very curious to watch.
Well, again, if we get those guys back, including Makuba, who's very important to this defensive backfield, that's big. He's the one guy I think that's more suspect than any of them to come back. I don't know what's going on with him, but I heard that he might not be back tomorrow. We'll see.
That would be an interesting development for sure.
Yeah, you want him back there. He's a headhunter, and he's also good in coverage. Just a great football player. Almost an All-American. I think if you look at it in my eyes, he'd be an All-American. I think he's a top 100 player in overall college football right now.
Swiss Army knife too. Kind of like not like necessarily like Isaiah Simmons athletic,
you
but
can
you
put
can
him in
play him.
nickel.
Yeah.
You move them all around. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think on the offensive side of the ball, we're just looking to see the offense continue what they built in these first 3 games and continue to push that forward. I mean, just see DJ step up in one of these bigger games.
To have the runs complementing the pass complementing the run. We've seen a 50-50 blend. We're seeing them be able to go up to the ball on 3rd and 4, and you don't know what they're going to do.
Yep.
That's what you want. You want to be on 3rd and 4 and go, okay, what are we doing? And
our
defense is going, okay, is it run or is it pass?
You want to create a question mark.
Yeah, that question mark has now been created because you got, I think you've got some balance finally. With the DJ emerging and his receiver core being more consistent, you're starting to see that. He's been able to throw to the same guys over and over now for the first time in a year.
Yeah, he's got things.
Got the same offensive line for the same time in a year. I mean, the first 3 games, the same starters. That didn't happen last year.
Nope,
it didn't happen one game last year. So there you go. That's the difference in this year and last year. You got more consistency up there. You're starting to build continuity, like we talked about, and those first 3 games did exactly what we thought they would do. They got the offense is revving up. It's starting to rev up. I think you're going to see Clemson start to score some points.
And he put on the pressure.
You saw last week Will Shipley take off for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. People are going to be trying to concentrate on him. Once that happens, boom, here comes the play action deep. And you catch a safety crashing in again.
Yep.
Next thing you know, there goes Collins. There goes Antonio Williams by him in the slot. Down the seam.
Yeah, that's the matchup I'm looking for. Is how does Wake Forest attack? Now that they really can't figure it out, because last year was more like, hey, we know Clemson's going to run the football. We know they can't beat us through the air. Let's stack the box. Let's make
not this year.
Darren beat
Watch
not
Antonio
this year.
Williams.
Yeah.
I think Antonio Williams has a big game tomorrow. I think he's open. I think another guy to look out for. It's going to be Davis Allen. I think a guy that will be able to affect their linebackers. You're going to catch them trying to crash and get Shipley, and they're going to leave guys like Allen and Antonio Williams open, because that's going to be who they're supposed to be covering. If you get the linebacker on a slot guy, and all of a sudden he crashes in, boom, slot guy's wide open in the middle of the field, and boom.
It's a statement game for Clemson, I feel. This proves last year may not be the fluke that everyone was probably hoping or thought it was.
Straight, man.
Yeah.
Clemson hasn't lost these guys since 2008. There's no fluke to any of this. Clemson's just got better personnel. It's one of those matchups where Wake will never win this game unless it's by their fluke. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they come out and out scheme or outplay Clemson, more effort. That's how you beat a Clemson with a team like Wake. And that's what he tries to do with the scheme he has. He beats these other teams because he can with the scheme, but it doesn't work against Clemson because it's just too much of a disparity in talent.
Correct, yeah.
But we can get to the scoreboard here in a few minutes and talk about it. But I looking for it to be a typical Wake game, like the last 3 years, a close game going into halftime, 3 to 7 point differential. Clemson maybe 17-10, 17-13 kind of lead. Second half, couple 3 touchdowns, blew it away. I'll be honest with you. Go ahead and tell you guys, I got Clemson 34-17.
I had them. I think I had them 37-24. I think it's gonna be a little more high scoring, but it's gonna be pull away. I think
it'd be like 7. If you got 37-24, it'd be like 37-17 late in the game, and Wake scores with a couple minutes left.
Hartman will make a key mistake. He's definitely a risk taker when he throws football.
Well, here's the thing about it: he's got nobody to run the ball, and there's no option running the ball. That makes him have to throw the ball. Then you pressure him. You make him make split decisions. He makes a lot of great decisions, but he can at the same time make just as many bad decisions.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that. So, Gary, with that Wake Forest prediction sealed away, is it time to do our college football pick'ems for the?
Go ahead. Let's go ahead and talk pick'ems. I mean, it's been a quick show tonight, guys. Grayson's got to head up. I got to get him going on the road. They got to head to Greensboro and Winston-Salem and get a hotel and relax. They have an early day tomorrow. I've got to get myself into the studio and get some work to do on a recruiting story on Heaven Brown Schuler, heavy duty, one of the top defensive tackles in 2024 class. He got with me after our first home game here. I just got the stuff on the editor. I need to get that story out tonight for everybody when I get a chance later on.
I saw a picture of him and I was like, holy cow, this guy
he's a great guy too, a great read, gentle giant kind of guy, but a great story. We'll get that out later on, and it'll be out there later on for everybody to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So our first game, Gary, on the menu.
Here we go.
If I told you this to those who are watching, that at the beginning of the year, let's say it's in August, and I said, guys, we're gonna have a matchup where Kansas and Duke are both undefeated going into their matchup.
I thought you were talking basketball.
Everyone would be like, is it November yet? Like, what's going on?
Basketball, yeah. So we're talking Bill Self here? Yeah, how about that? Lawrence, Kansas, a place I've been, by the way, folks. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Lawrence, Kansas, sold out. Kansas averaging over 50 points a game the last couple of games.
Crazy.
Just amazing. 3-0, and just the talk of the town out there. You got game day maybe going to be out that way. I don't know who's game day tomorrow.
I believe game day is Tennessee and Florida.
That's right.
Which we'll talk about.
But hey, Duke going out there. Duke's 3-0 with a new attitude. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm going to go with the hometown team on that one. I think I'm going to go Kansas. I think they got a little bit too much to prove, and to be at home with that crowd sold out for the first time in forever in a Blue Moon, that little place is going to have some mojo going on.
This is probably one of the biggest football games for Kansas in recent memory because Les Miles tried to come in a couple years ago. That didn't end up working out.
Spencer's, what's his
Yeah.
name? The big giant guy that used to be there, Mangione.
Yeah.
Mangini, whatever his name was.
Eric Mangini, I think.
And they went 12-1 with him.
2007.
Yeah, so they went 12-1 with that one team, and it's been since then, since they've done anything.
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that matchup just to see. It's just two teams that feel like they have life pumped into them, and that's always exciting.
Yeah. Well, it's just fun to see guys that everybody looks at like doormats all of a sudden show up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
different coaches.
It's what college football special.
Yeah. So what we got next?
We got Florida and Tennessee, the game day game.
Okay, so that one we're gonna go back in history where Florida's won like 13 of the last 14, 16 of the last 17, maybe something like that crazy. I think Steve Spurrier is going to be the guest picker there.
He is.
So that's going to be pretty funny to watch because he's hilarious. I've actually spoken to him a couple times. He's a funny man.
Funny guy.
But look, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna go with the home team, Tennessee.
I think I'm going to go with Tennessee as well. I think Hooker is one of the most talented quarterbacks within the SEC.
I think the Florida team just that quarterback has hit a wall.
They caught fire too quickly.
He's gotten the yips over the last couple of games.
Yeah.
He just can't make anything happen for him. And this guy that first game he looked like a Heisman candidate. The way he was slinging the ball out there and running.
As Lee Corso says, not so fast.
Not so fast, exactly. I was already putting a crown on the kid's head after game one. I was like, wait a minute, not so fast.
Not so fast.
What's next?
That's okay. So we got Notre Dame and UNC. This is an interesting one. UNC's undefeated. Drake May tied in the FBS for touchdown passes with 11. Notre Dame notably struggling. You might have seen it on Twitter where their offensive coordinator was screaming at Drew Pine on the TV. It's in Chapel Hill though.
Here's the thing: 2 weeks off. The scheme for a Notre Dame team that's already missing their starting quarterback for the season and having a hard time throwing the football and running the football. At North Carolina, Gene Chizik, 2 weeks. Even though Gene Chizik lets the score run up on some things, I think that this game is perfectly set up for North Carolina to win. I think they win big. I think it's a 10-point plus win.
I have to agree with you there. I think UNC's.
I think they win.
Speaking
big.
of UNC and undefeated teams, I believe there's 7 undefeated teams within the ACC this year.
Yeah, hey, how about that? SEC?
How about that?
How about that? The rest of college football, the little ACC, old ACC, the basketball conference, y'all, over here making football noise. With 7 teams all undefeated. How about that, huh?
How about that?
Yeah, Tigers are. They might carry the flag around here, but what they've done is they've raised the level.
Yep.
Recruiting wise, the standard, everything. All these other schools. Why do you think Duke's doing better? Because they said they're looking at Clemson. They're saying we got to beat Clemson.
Syracuse 3-0.
Syracuse
3-0.
There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Now I won't say anything about Virginia Tech in that performance last night. That was a kind of ugly thing. Next game we have Arkansas and Texas A&M. Wow.
Interesting one.
Which one? Where's that one at?
I believe it's A&M.
And so it's at Kyle Field, a place I've been. That place is crazy loud, crazy thick with humidity. Arkansas, great big giant running team with a great big giant offensive line, a 240-pound quarterback that can sling it. A&M, I don't think they found themselves yet. That 17-7 or whatever, 17-9 game with Miami was ugly as you could get. I thought it was pretty ugly for both teams. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go with Arkansas on this one. I think Arkansas goes and controls the game with the run game. Arkansas comes out with a 7 to 10 point win.
I think Arkansas sets them up with a huge matchup against Alabama next week. That'll be something to talk about. Yeah. KJ Jefferson versus Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Arkansas almost had him last year. That was a matchup to see.
Right.
I think A&M, like you said, they're still trying to figure themselves out. They played a Miami team with a lot of energy surrounded by them, and they're playing for their life last weekend. So it feels like they're going to come a little bit down to earth.
Yeah. Again, I'll go with Arkansas.
Yeah. And so our final one is going to be, actually, we're talking about the ACC. A little bit of a reversal. If you had told me where BC and Florida State would be at this time, I'd say that BC would probably be 3-0 and Florida State would be 1-2, kind of struggling, trying to figure themselves out.
You didn't tell me that BC would be a 16-point underdog going into Tallahassee. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about the 16 points if I was a gambling man, but I'll take Florida State in this one all day long.
I will.
I think they're going to get their quarterback back this week. From what I hear, he's been practicing, even with a knee brace. Having him back in there, Jordan Travis, will be a big thing for the guys there in Florida State. Just seeing a different kind of Florida State football team, a little bit more swagger,
a little more oomph,
a little bit more oomph than they used to have. Defensive line seems to be solid. Their next text will be they got back-to-back games against Clemson at NC State, and Clemson comes in.
We'll see.
And then there you go. That's what their next test is. I take out Florida State in this one.
Florida State by 14.
Really?
That's mine.
I'm gonna go Florida State by like 7 to 8.
Okay.
Something like that. I think BC does keep it a little closer than we think. Now let's go to Clemson, Wake Forest. My pick earlier, 34-17. I think it's a 17-14, 17-10 kind of game. Halftime. Clemson comes back in the second half, puts a couple 3 touchdowns up, and holds weight to about field goal touchdown in the second half. 34-17 is what I got. Tigers in a game that they won't get much love from the national media, but it'll be a 17-point win over a 22nd ranked team.
Yeah, and that'll be super impressive to see. I had 37-24 as mine. I think Wake Forest, it's a little more
By the way,
competitive.
excuse just got my ankle.
Ah,
You see me here dancing?
he gotcha.
Yeah, they're over here, buddy. I'm telling you, Death Valley's got something going on. When the team's not here, the mosquitoes are.
When there's something in these hills, it's these mosquitoes. But
Right.
that'll do it for us today, Gary.
Yeah, that would do it for us. Grayson's heading up to, like I said, up to Chapel Hill. Check out tomorrow. Let's see, games at 12.
Game's
We'll
12.
have you 10:30.
10:30.
10:30 a.m., folks. He'll go see us in Orange Crush pregame live here on the net. He'll be in the press box. The field will be right behind him when he goes on live. He'll tell us all about what he finds out during pregame walkthrough and what he finds out as he gets there on site tomorrow. And I'll be in the studio. We'll be working it all day long. And then post-game right after the game.
Post-game.
Again, also, just look for our feeds in our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook groups. They're all there. And I'll be pushing that stuff out tomorrow, too, so you can follow that. But
Yeah.
until then, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Safe trip to everybody. Anybody going up to Wake Forest tomorrow, be safe going up there and be safe coming back home. Go Tigers.